Hey everybody, Dave Neal here, stand-up comedian and host of the SAP podcast. Today I'm going to do a reaction video where I watch some of the clips from the Democratic national debates, some of the different candidates, hired joke writers, as some of you guys might know. So I'm going to review some of these jokes and react to them and let you know if I think they're hack or if they were good jokes. And at the end of this video, I'm going to put together a list of a stand-up comedy show if I had to put these presidential candidates in a stand-up show. Who would headline, who would host, who would feature, who would be the comedy club owner. I'm gonna let you guys know all that. So let's watch what we have here. All right, our first one. Let's go to this first one here.
My husband out there, my first Senate race, I literally called everyone I knew and I set what is still an all-time Senate record. I raised $17,000 from ex-boyfriends. And I'd like to point out, it is not an expanding base. So I don't just think this with my head. I feel it in my heart.
Thank you so
What I love the most about this joke by Amy Klobuchar, who just dropped out of the presidential race before Super Tuesday. What I love most about this joke is when she says that it's not an expanding base. You get the punchline, $17,000 by ex-boyfriends. That's the punchline. Then expanding base is just a tag, which are just additional punchlines. And I love that other presidential candidates are trying to cut into her. The moderators are trying to cut into her. She just bulldozes to the punchline. She nails it. That's probably the funniest joke that I've heard, because sometimes these come out like canned, you know what I mean? But I really liked that one.
It's not a plan, it's a PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's like a Post-it note. Insert plan here.
I must say I take personal offense since Post-it notes were invented in my state.
Boy, Elizabeth Warren doesn't have a funny bone in her body, kind of like her Native American history. I think what I love about this is Klobuchar returned that Post-it comment, which was just first of all, economy of words, Elizabeth Warren. She used a lot of words to get that Post-it note joke out. I don't even really think it was a joke. It was kind of whatever it was, but Klobuchar took it and turned it back, and she had kind of like a Sarah Palin moment where she said, well, my state invented Post-it notes. It's like, well, that's funny. She took it and she went with it.
Blames Barack Obama for everything that goes wrong. He blames his Federal Reserve chair that he appointed himself. He blames the King of Denmark. Who does that?
Who does that? This is her like Seinfeld moment where she's, who does that?
Blames the Prime Minister of Canada for, he claims, cutting him out of the Canadian version of Home Alone 2. Who does that?
The Canadian version of Home Alone 2. Who does that? I could have listened to 20 more of Amy Klobuchar doing that. He bangs hookers in a Ritz-Carlton. Who does that? He grabs women by the... Okay, you guys get the point. You know, that's why it would have been great to see her debate Trump. We're not going to get to see that, but it would have been great because I think she can, as a lady with Midwestern values and a Costco haircut, I think she can make fun of Trump in a way that others can't, because she's just like, this is so crazy. To her world, this is crazy, like what he's all about.
Have not had enough women in our government. When I was on Trevor Noah's show once, I explained how in the history of the Senate there was something like
By the way, that's her explaining that she's a black friend. I was on Trevor Noah's show once. She's going to take that to the grave up in Minnesota. You know, I was on Trevor Noah's show once.
2,000 men and only 50 women in the whole history. And he said if a nightclub had numbers that bad, they would shut it down.
Hey, she delivers the joke. Give that joke to like Bloomberg. He's going to mess that joke up 100% of the time.
James Madison once said when he was speaking out at the Constitutional Convention, and by the way, I think he's a pretty good size for a president. He was 5'4". And what he said,
I don't mind that. That's a quick joke. Doesn't require much of a setup. Economy of words. It's pretty good. It's just, all right, so she's 5'4", so she deserves to be president.
I'm on the record saying that you need both strong men and female leaders in government, because the fact is, if you get too many men alone and leave us alone for a while, we kind of become morons.
It's so hack. Men are dumb, but it's also like half of my act is like, how stupid am I? We make TV shows, Tim the Toolman Taylor, Home Improvement. It's just a dumb guy with power tools. Every show out there is how dumb. You ever watch commercials? You ever watch a commercial for anything? It's just like, how dumb can we make the guy be? I get it. We're idiots. Put men together. We're idiots. Andrew Yang points that out. He doesn't get enough stage time at these debates, but when he does get it, he probably gets more laughs than anybody.
I'm going to start with you, Mr. Yang.
Wow.
Gets it again. Look at that. Hold on. Hold on. 2 laughs, 1 word. That's funny. You know what I mean? He's just shocked that they even asked him a question. He's shocked that they know his name and that they know he's on the debate stage. Wow. He sounds like a cross between Matthew McConaughey and Ray Romano. He's like, wow. All right. Let's get to it. Math is cool, you know?
Warren, you would be the oldest president ever inaugurated. I'd like you to weigh in as well.
I'd also be the youngest woman ever inaugurated.
Hey, the joke lands.
Mayor Pete has 3 years as an analyst at McKinsey.
You demoted me. I was actually an associate, but that's okay.
That's a good one. There's nothing that's really funny about Buttigieg. He's just an average-looking, straight-laced guy from Indiana. You know what I mean? So, like, he can land a couple, jokes, but he doesn't have the character of, like, a grumpy Bernie. He doesn't have the character of a sassy Midwestern Klobuchar. The only thing that Buttigieg really has going for him is his impressions, since he's been ripping off Obama for the last couple of years.
Your female employees might not have liked some of your jokes. Did these women take your jokes wrong, or were you wrong to make the joke?
Probably wrong to make the jokes. I don't remember what they were, so I assume if it bothered them, I was wrong, and I apologize. I'm sorry for that. We could only find 3 cases where women said they were uncomfortable. Nobody accused me of doing anything other than just making a comment or 2.
Jesus Christ. If you need to pay women to sign an NDA, maybe your jokes need a little bit of a workshopping. He should have implemented stop and frisk near some comedy clubs in New York City. You know what I mean? Maybe he could have confiscated some joke books instead of drugs. Holy cow. He's too rich to be funny. He's just a villain.
Since I have the floor for a second, that I really am surprised that all of these, my fellow contestants up here, I guess would be the right word for it, given nobody pays attention to the clock. I'm surprised they show up because I would have thought after I did such a good job in beating them last week that they'd be a little bit afraid to do that.
Wow. In comedy, we call that a flat tire. That is a flat tire. Like, the joke was there, but he got a flat tire. Like, wow, did he? You know what I mean? Like, somebody probably wrote a really good joke. I'm sure there's a comedian sitting somewhere, with a really great joke, 140 characters or less, and then Bloomberg just bumbles it to the finish line.
But let me just say,
no one got the joke. They're all raising their hand. They're like, I can do it better than you. Wow, that was bad. The problem with Bloomberg, too, is he's been enabled so long from his boardroom. He probably has, like, all these people that just laugh at no matter what he says. He's got that kind of little bit of a smirk, like he has a sense of humor. And you know what? Maybe he does. Maybe him and Pete can go down to the wine cellar and tell some jokes. But boy, does that not land well. And he paid the audience to be there, and they're still barely laughing.
We're close. Be careful, you're on.
Biden... what Biden just did here, I want to play this for you guys again. What Biden just did here is the perfect move a host does. See, he says something that other people aren't supposed to hear. It's supposed to elicit a laugh, and it's supposed to show that you guys are chummy with each other. That lets the audience know that we're kind of like in cahoots, we're friends. Not to say that that's not his natural disposition to be chummy like that, but being chummy like that, kind of like grab-assing, that type of thing that he's doing right there, that's great for a host in a stand-up show.
If elected, you would turn 82 at the end of your first term. You'd be the oldest president in American history.
Are you willing, Churchill?
Are you willing to commit American history?
American history.
Yes. Are you?
I was joking. That was a joke.
Okay. I appreciate it.
He goes, listen, Joe Biden was 1,000% not joking. 1,000% not. Look at him. That was a joke. No, I was kidding. Winston Churchill, come on. American history, come on. It was a joke. Duh, idiot. And he's going to turn it around on him.
Politico doesn't have much of a sense of humor.
Oh, we've got a great sense of humor.
It's like, no. We have a sense of humor. We just don't get your jokes because it made no sense.
Where's their response? Who can win Florida, Pennsylvania, Minnesota? Who can do that? Because you got to be able to win those.
Never ask a rhetorical question that you're not ready to be heckled with. You know what I mean? Like in this case, he's got these other presidential candidates that are ready to go. Like, I can do that. Like, what if you're going to ask a rhetorical question, we're going to give you a real answer. You know what I mean? It's like on stage, you never want to ask a question that you think an audience might heckle the answer to. Like, you better get to the punchline right away before some, jerk in a Hawaiian shirt in the third row gets drunk and tries to guess what your punchlines are. Not that that's happened before.
Covered. Hey, put your hand down for a second, Bernie, okay? Just waving to you, Joe. I know. Saying hello. I know.
This is my favorite clip of all time. Just waving to you, Joe. Saying hello. Here's the thing about Bernie. We're going to watch a couple Bernie clips. Bernie is the best at sarcasm. He's the best at keeping his character. He keeps this old curmudgeon guy from Brooklyn. He nailed it. Just waving to you, Joe. He's so funny. I don't think we give Bernie enough credit for how funny he is.
I would not meet with the, quote, supreme leader who said, Joe Biden is a rabid dog. He should be beaten to death with a stick. I count that.
Other than that, you like him.
Other than that, I like him, and he got a love letter from Trump.
Oh, what a duo. Biden and Bernie are such a duo. They are going to be greatly missed in the coming years. They really are. What? I mean, because he's the charismatic guy, and Bernie's like, oh, so you're saying you like him? Bernie is vastly underrated for his comedy. Vastly.
Spend more time in Mexico than anybody. Guy get a chance to say something?
Oh, hold on, President.
Biden asks another rhetorical question. Maybe it wasn't rhetorical. He goes, can I get a chance to say something? They're talking about Mexican politics, and then Bernie just chimes in off camera. See. I'm sorry. This is vastly underappreciated. I think this is so funny. What else you got there, Bernie?
I like Bernie just fine. Klobuchar-Sanders amendment to bring in less.
No.
It was not.
I thought I was Sanders Klobuchar. No, okay. But you know what he does? Here, let me run. You know what Bernie does is this is how caring Bernie is, okay? He makes the joke, but then look at the eye contact he gives Klobuchar after. That's his way of saying, I'm just messing with you.
Bring in less.
Right there.
Right there.
It was not.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy.
Build on the Affordable Care Act.
She mentioned
Senator Coburn, Senator Warren, we would like to bring you in.
She took my name in vain. She hurt my feelings.
They're flirting.
I am crushed. Can I respond?
Never.
Just waving at you, Joe. See. I thought it was Sanders Klobuchar. I mean, this isn't just a grumpy old man. This is a guy with a sense of humor that's probably been making these jokes, since the 50s, right? I mean, this guy.
There's a real competition going on up here. My good friend Joe, and he is a good friend, he's received contributions from 44 billionaires. Pete, on the other hand, is trailing. Pete, you only got 39 billionaires contributing. So, Pete, we look forward to you. I know you're an energetic guy and a competitive guy to see if you can take on Joe on that issue.
Okay, let's put together a stand-up comedy lineup based on the acts that we saw here in the Democratic National Debate, okay? So in my expert opinion, the host of the stand-up show that ties everything together is Joe Biden, okay? He's affable, chummy, he's going to grab ass with all the other comics, he's going to riff back and forth. Half the stuff he says won't make sense, maybe he's a little delirious. Whatever, that's fine. He's a likable guy. He smiles a lot. He'll do some crowd work with the audience. He'll guess what type of shampoo you've got. You know what I mean? He'll be fine. And then after the host, we have a couple short sets before we get to the feature and headliner. So a couple short sets that we're going to have, of course, Andrew Yang, right? He needs more stage time before he's going to, right now, Andrew Yang, we're going to give him a 5-minute set. He's going to talk about math. He's going to talk about being an Asian guy. He's going to talk about the tech world. He's going to talk about how men are stupid. It's going to be great. He's going to kill. After that, I don't know if there's any room for Buttigieg or Warren. The feature set is going to go to Amy Klobuchar. Super funny. She's going to bring out all the Midwestern moms. She's going to talk about her haircut and about being 5'4". She's going to talk about being like, she's just going to murder it. She's got, women out there, mom's night out. They're going to come out, get a babysitter. They're going to love her. And who's our headliner? Who but Bernie Sanders. Let me tell you why. He's not the funniest with his jokes. He doesn't come there with scripted jokes, but he's got sarcasm that cuts deep. He's got George Carlin-like energy, where he's going to tell you the truth about how he feels. He's going to speak to the masses, and no one's going to follow him. You do not want to follow Bernie Sanders, right? So he's the headliner. He goes last. Bloomberg does not make the cut on my stand-up comedy show, but he wants to be funny. So my advice to Bloomberg is just buy a comedy club. Buy 20 comedy clubs. You can do a whole tour around the country with all the comedy clubs you can buy. You can't buy your way into comedy, Bloomberg, okay? But you can buy a comedy club. And if you do, let me know how I can submit to do a show there. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of a comedian reacting to Democratic debate jokes. If you did, hit the subscribe button. Give me a like. Leave a comment below. Share with some friends. If you want to see my stand-up comedy about Joe Biden, I'll put it right here. I have a joke about Joe Biden. You can go check that out. Thank you guys. Bye.